Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We got tropical depression Gordon out in the open Atlantic right now. It did form a couple of days ago as it was a tropical storm over here, but now it's a tropical depression. It should be a tropical storm when it gets over here back into more favorable environments. But next week there could be about 7 days. There could be a major hurricane heading towards Florida. So I'll show you the model, and they're picking up on it, and they really want a powerful storm to hit in the Gulf. They're moving it in further in the Gulf. But anyway, I'll show you the cone. This is what the new cone is, by the way. It's moving west at 3 miles an hour. It should start moving that north and start taking that kind of that northerly turn. So it should take that northerly turn very soon, and by 2 a.m. Thursday Atlantic Standard Time, it should be a tropical storm again, and then it would be a tropical storm until 2 a.m. Sunday, where it could weaken up here, or it could become a hurricane up here, or it could even just die off up here and reform up here as a subtropical storm or something like that. But yeah, it's just out in the harmlessly out in the open Atlantic, not going to affect no one, not going to affect Bermuda, the Bahamas. It did give some tropical storm warning watches to the Cabo Verde Islands a little bit, but now it's moved like this basically, and now it's going to head towards the open Atlantic up in the north in the cool subtropics, and this should become a subtropical storm when it gets towards if it does survive up to this long. It should be a subtropical storm when it gets near the Azores, or tropical if it stays like that. But there's no activity right now in the Atlantic. Apart from that, but now you've got tropical storm Putin, and then you got Investnali 8W, which could become tropical storm Sulik. You got tropical storm Putin, which is not really looking that good. It's more an easterly side of the system where you got that very strong wind shear hitting the system. I'll show you more on the IR satellite imagery. You can see Putin's convection is on this side of the storm. The wind shear is coming out from the west, which is making the system not have any convection on this western side, which is because the model ones were expecting this to become a major typhoon in this vicinity, but it won't become a major if the wind shear is hitting on it. It should probably move out of the wind shear very soon, and if it does, it'll probably will rapidly intensify, but I highly doubt it will. Because of the convection, will take long. There is convection over the storm, over the center, but it's not over on this side, as I already told you about. But there's like 25 to 30 knots of wind shear on the system. If it was about 20 knots of wind shear, 20 knots doesn't really affect the storm. It will just keep the storm at 45 miles an hour. But because it's 25 to 30 knots, it does affect the storm. It rips the system apart. And if it was any higher than that, any higher than 25, if it was 40 or 50 knots, it will completely rip it apart. So let's bring up the GFS, because the GFS has something interesting in the Atlantic on the earlier model runs, actually on the 12Z model, on the 6Z model run. Most of the ensemble models do want the system that should be forming over here, moving further towards the west, in the Gulf. They're trending it more in the Gulf than it is taking that eastward turn and going over Cuba. Now, if that does happen, everyone needs to watch this from Louisiana to Pensacola, Florida, Texas, because it could easily just make landfall again in Louisiana. And you guys last week only just had Francine, and you don't want another hurricane hitting you guys again. So I will bring it over. You can see Gordon re-intensifying again back to 100, but that back down to 1003 millibars. You can see a little area of low pressure over here, which is not going to do anything. It's going to move up towards Nova Scotia. Not really going to impact anyone. And then you got this area of low, which should be, the NHC should be monitoring by the 21st, by Saturday. And then they will probably mark it on the Sunday. As you can see a little area of cloudiness off the coast of Nicaragua and Honduras. And then you can see it in the Gulf trying to develop, and you can see it starts to rapidly intensify with 992 millibars, 983 millibars, 982, 988. You can see the GFS wants a major hurricane out of this, heading towards the border between Florida and Alabama. So and plus it is trending more towards the west as well. So if it trends more towards the west, that means Louisiana and Texas will be in the cone. And I'm pretty sure you guys do not want to be in the cone again, because you guys only had Francine last week. But 949 millibars. That's low end category 4. So that's basically a Cat 4. So basically, this could be a category 4 hurricane hitting you guys pretty much where Idalia hit last year. Pretty much the same spot, probably a little bit more towards the west. But other than that, you do have another area of interest, another storm coming off the coast of Africa, which should probably just move out towards the open ocean, not really do anything. And then it makes landfall as a 965 millibar hurricane. So it does weaken, probably due to an IWAR replacement cycle. And you've got two storms which should become hurricanes or weak tropical storms in the East Pac. And then you do have this area of interest, which I am keeping an eye on. You got this one here, which could be a tropical storm, and you got this one here, which could be a tropical storm, as activity starts to slowly ramp up on the 2nd of October. But you can see some more area of cloudiness in the Gulf, not in the Gulf, in the Caribbean on the 2nd, near Haiti and the Dominican Republic. So if that bit does form and moves towards the west, then the Gulf will be at play again. Now, if this does happen, this will probably be, if we have Isaac, Joyce, this probably will be Kirk. If those are the two systems that I just marked over here that formed, I show you. If these two systems over here form, that will probably be Isaac, that will be Joyce, and then this one over here will probably be Kirk. And then there's a little area of spin in the Bay of Campeche, as you can see the Central American gyre is starting to get back again, as you can see at the 1002 millibar low in the East Pac. And then you can see another storm which is trying to form in the Caribbean on the 3rd of October, which is a Thursday. So that could form, and you could have another storm out in the which could be the Helene storm, or after. Yeah, it could be Leslie as it heads towards the north. Pretty much has these storms have done since August, because Ernesto went like that. Gordon is going like that. Pretty much the only storms haven't moved out towards the north are Beryl, and you had Francine, Arlene, Chris, and then Debbie. They're the only ones that haven't moved towards the north, and those storms combined have over Beryl, Debbie, and Francine have over if you roughly add the damages up, it's about roughly $18 to $20 billion of damage so far this year, which is a lot of money. And if you take that for granted, I'm going to show you the West Pac now, because the Western Pacific is meant to be getting a lot more active as early October, as October comes around. You can see Tuesday the 17th, right now, Tuesday the 17th of September 2024. You can see Polson just moving rapidly towards China. It's about moving 33 miles an hour, so that should get to you about Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Should get to you guys about Thursday. Polson potential Sulik is meant to be a typhoon making landfall on Vietnam, just south where Yagi may landfall, because Yagi may landfall up here. Sulik's probably going to make landfall over here, and then you have another storm, which is going to form over here, and you got another storm here. So it's just a train of storms up. You saw back in 2018. It's a train of non-stop storms, and then you pretty much have a little break, and then the 25th you have another storm affecting China, moving towards Hainan Island, and then it just really doesn't do anything, just dies off, and then after that nothing really forms. It just goes all to the Atlantic and the East Pac, but you do have a potential subtropical storm that just try and form near Japan over here. Now, whether it does something, because of the high pressure system being over here, probably will push it towards the east and just die off over where Alaska is. But if you keep watching, it does try and become a 992 millibar hurricane, tropical storm, shall I say, and then just heads out towards the open ocean and just die. If this does happen, it will probably be a short-lived tropical storm. And by October the 3rd, we got no areas of interest or nothing in the West Pac, as the MJO moves from east to west. So the MJO is going to be moving from the West Pac and move into the East Pac and then the Atlantic. So that's why then you see that potential major hurricane Helene in the Gulf of Mexico, because of the MJO. show you the Eastern Pacific now. The Eastern Pacific is meant to be getting some more activity in the next couple of weeks. Right now, the East Pac's dead. You do have a 1,000 millibar low, which I am keeping an eye on because that could be that next system. I haven't marked it yet, but I probably will mark it in a couple of days' time. As you see, it doesn't really do anything according to the GFS. You got an area of spin over here which just dies off. You still got the you still got the intertropical convergence zone still moving in the East Pac. You do have some weak areas of spin. You've got a weak area spin here and a weak area spin there. Now, whether those guys do something on the 24th, which is next week, so just take this as a grain of salt. This is like 7 days out from now. Could happen, could not happen. It's like with that major hurricane in the Atlantic, that's like 7 days out from now, 10 days, 11 days out. So you don't know if it will become a major hurricane or not. Like, they're predicting Francine 7 days in advance of becoming a major hurricane, but it only became a category 2. So, yeah. So don't take the GFS as a grain of salt, because the GFS has been terrible this year. They wanted El Nesto to become a cat 3, and they wanted Francine to become a cat 4, which never happened. But they do have the one more towards this way winning, but there's an area of low off Guatemala, which could do something, and then there is another low here. Now this low will probably win over that one, and it probably will become the main system. As you can see, you got a 998 millibar tropical storm, and you still have that area of spin, and then that one becomes a tropical storm, while on Friday the 27th, which is, I believe, when this major hurricane is approaching Florida, pretty much where Dali made landfall last year, and then and these two just simultaneously just move out. Well, this one's moving out, probably going to make landfall as a tropical storm in Mexico near Oaxaca, or probably just going to move out towards the open ocean and impact the Baja Californian Peninsula. This one potentially becomes a hurricane, but this one moves inland pretty quickly over Guatemala and Mexico, and then this one weakens again, as then you got the more wave train, which is over here. You got another area of interest over here. You got a lot of cloudiness over here, and you got a lot of moisture over here. So looks like the Eastern Pacific and the Atlantic will start waking up at the end of September, early October, as we all predicted. So yep, and that could be a hurricane making landfall. 988 millibars. Might be a hurricane, might not be a hurricane, but it could be a mid-range to high-end tropical storm making landfall on Mexico. So if you live in that area, just keep a watch out. And I'll bear in mind again, I'll repeat this for the third time. This is 10 days out, so take this as a grain of salt. I'll show you the Indian Ocean now, because apparently there is something in the Indian Ocean that does try and develop closer towards the end of the month into early October. As you can see right now, it's just completely dead. We did have the remnants of Yagi, which was here, because remember Yagi last week went like this. It did actually become a tropical depression again. but you can see Sulik moving, and actually Sulik does the same thing, but doesn't really form in the Indian Ocean. But you can see, just pay attention to the North Indian. Don't pay attention to the South Indian yet, as the South Indian won't wake up until late October. You can see a little something in the Arabian Sea. In fact, it does come from the Bay of Bengal. You got two areas of interest. This is by next week, 7 days out. So you got an area of interest coming off the coast of Kolkata in India, and then it moves towards the west, and makes landfall somewhere in India. Don't know where that place is in India. Don't really know my Indian geography, and actually moves over India and survives and moves into the Arabian Sea, probably as a different system. Actually, no, it survives as a borderline tropical depression, tropical storm, and then moves into the Arabian Sea and heads towards Saudi Arabia. No, not Saudi Arabia. Heads towards Yemen and all those other countries. Makes landfall very quickly and just dies off over the desert of Iran. So could form, could not form, and you do have a couple of spin in the South Indian Ocean over here, one near Madagascar. So live near Madagascar, you could have a little system that could give you a bit of rainfall. Probably not a lot of rainfall. It should weaken as it gets towards Madagascar, but you can have a bit of rainfall from this remnant system that will probably move towards the south. This system's probably not really going to do anything due to the very high wind shear due to the very high wind shear from the north, the south, and the east, which will obliterate this system, as you already know, because it's not the time of year to get cyclones in the southern hemisphere, because they're in their spring right now. When in the middle of October to the end of October to the beginning of November, that's when you could see a potential cyclone trying to form, but it could try and get a brief tropical cyclone run, a weak tropical storm run, but I highly doubt it. Due to as I already explained, due to the very high wind shear that's in the basin, over where these two systems are. So yeah. So that's I'm gonna wrap up the update for today. So it was a long update, just going through the whole world. Yeah, probably be another update out tomorrow, as I'm looking through the South Pacific. We'll probably talk more about the Southern Hemisphere tomorrow. If it could have an active start, I'll have my Southern Hemisphere cyclone predictions out in a couple of days. So, stay tuned for that. I'm not going to go as bullish as I did for the Northern Hemisphere, because I predicted over 50 storms to form in the Northern Hemisphere. That's been 25 so far, so we could have another 5 that could try and form, but I highly doubt it. And you do have another area of interest over here near Fiji. So yeah, that's the video. finish for today. Yeah, just keep an eye on the channel for the Southern Hemisphere predictions coming out in a couple of days. And tomorrow we'll talk about more about the major hurricane, if it's going to hit Florida, if it's going to hit Texas or Louisiana or anywhere in the Gulf Coast. I'll cover that tomorrow. Show you more of the model runs, the ensemble models and all of that. So yeah, anyway, stay tuned, and I'll see you all in the next update. Peace.